What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode here of the solo group hardcore Ironman series. This is a four-man size team here, and we are just, slowly chipping away, as always, on our stats, padding up the stats. So I got some interesting updates and content to talk about. So let's jump right in. So first off, finished maxing my combat on the second of four accounts. I am still doing Slayer here. I'm zoomed way in on the Blood Velds here. So my stats are 99 attack, strength, defense, HP across the board. Very high prayer. Um, and when I say max, I mostly just mean the attack, strength, defense, which I've had 99s in some of them for a while, but I finally finished all the way to 99 attack. So we are just rocking controlled on the whip since there's no more experience that will progress our levels at this point. But so rather just have it on the controlled for that +1 hidden strength bonus there. So um, yeah, I am still working on 99 Slayer. That's why I'm still doing Slayer for the most part. I also would love to get 99 Magic. Um, so as I slowly finish 99 Slayer, I hope to just do as many burst tasks as possible and finish this up. Um, I think the reason I'm not as high of Magic, so I got 99 Magic on my first account that got 99 Slayer because I did a ton of Zulrah on that account where you're tridenting most of the Zulrah fight, and it ends up you just get like a ton of Magic XP passively by doing that boss. So doing 1700 and what was it, 1725 at least, from I can remember before I got my blowpipe. So yeah, got tons of Mage XP through that, and then 99 Slayer with bursting and all these other things that you do for Magic. Got 99 on him, but I'm still quite a bit off. So close to 2 mil XP away from 99 Mage here, and I'm less than 700k till 99 Slayer, and a lot of my Slayer tasks will be melee tasks. So I don't expect to hit 99 by the time I hit 99 Slayer. I don't expect to hit 99 Mage, but whatever I end up at, then I will just probably chill at or finish it off by just maybe just continuing Slayer post 99 and try to get some like Necreal tasks, Dust Devils, skip for those, see what we can get out of that. Another big proponent of it is that I do a lot of my tasks using the demonic offering spells, which convert the three ashes to a large chunk of prayer XP. So one of those being Necreals. So a lot of people will always just, oh, you see Necreal tasks burst, I'm just going to get on Ancients and barrage them down. It's really, really large amounts of Mage XP when you do that, when you do the Greater Necreals. However, I've done a fair bit of tasks where I do them like the Abbey Demons, where I'm going to kill them with melee so that they drop the Ash. I'm not going to use the Ash Sanctifier on those tasks. And then I'll pick up the Ash and cast that spell, which puts a 300% multiplier on the XP that you would get for scattering, and it consumes three of them at once. So because Necreals drop Malicious Ashes, they're not as good as the Abyssal Ashes from Abbey Demons, but they're still a very, very high tier Ash. They still give a fairly high chunk of prayer XP. So when you cast that spell, it's kind of like using three Dragon Bones on a Gilded Altar or something. You get like roughly like 600 to 700 XP in prayer from three ashes. So I'll get like a 200 Necro task, and the way I decide it kind of is if I am on the Arceus spellbook already and I get Necreals, then I'm just like, well, when in Rome, I'm already on the Arceus spellbook. I'm gonna just do this task using the Ash spell. So I would melee the Necros under the Slayer Tower in Canifis, and then I'll just use the Ash spell on all the Ashes for that increased prayer XP. Obviously, you will get some prayer XP when you're barraging Necreals, It's just nowhere near as much because the Ash Sanctifier is only half of like the scatter XP, whereas I'm getting the full, but also times 300%, or which is basically times three, which ends up being like a ridiculously large amount more in prayer, and prayer being one of the slower skills on any hardcore account. That's just a fact. Definitely a good idea to do those necrils where possible if you can, if you don't need the magic XP for barraging. Now, I do need the magic XP for barraging, so you could argue, oh, well, I should have done that. But, I'll get 99 passively anyway. If I'm on the regular or ancient already spellbook, then I will typically just barrage them as normal. Um, but yeah, after 99 mage, I will probably melee all of my necrils because then the remaining 99 for combat skills would be prayer, and you'll get way more prayer out of meleeing them, picking up the ashes, and using this spell. So just some interesting ideas there. That's basically a hardcore Ironman meta right there. Is to you melee all your necrils rather than barraging them. And I know that just sounds like blasphemy or whatever. Like, how could you not barrage necrils? It's such a juicy XP per hour task. It's such a high, yield in Slayer XP total, as well as the drops are good. You get a ton of Mage XP. That's just how insanely good the ashes are nowadays with the update. I remember these things, they never used to drop any type of ash that was usable for prayer. They used to just drop like white ashes, which didn't do anything for you. But ever since that update, it's been years already since this update, but it's significantly swung the hardcore Ironman meta because we cannot. If you're a hardcore Iron, you can't risk losing your one life going to the Wilderness Altar, which is twice as good as the Gilded Altar. Which Gilded Altar is obviously already really powerful for taking bones to. So because we can't bank bones and take them there, we have to get prayer through other means. So it technically is the best way to get prayer is through the RC spellbook and using all those high level spells, as well as the ensouled heads and stuff for other Slayer tasks. So yeah, that's currently where we're at on the Slayer. I'm not worried about the range level. I will probably work on Gauntlet, doing Corrupted Gauntlet at some point. I'm already high enough range to where I just have a high max hit with the Crystal Bow in the Gauntlet itself to do Hunleaf, so not really worried about getting too much higher. Some of the breakpoints, interestingly enough, for Corrupted Gauntlet, so if you're using the only Eagle Eye with the bow, the tier 3 bow for Gauntlet, you get max hit breakpoints, so you get an extra max hit at these specific range levels. You get them at 83, and then I think 87, and then after that I think it's like something like 90 or 91, and then like 93 there's another one. So basically I like to think of the two important ones as 83 and 87. Like if you just hit 82 range, you're probably going to need like 250,000 range XP to the next level, right? Or maybe it's close to 300k XP. In my opinion, because you get a breakpoint or an extra max hit with the Crystal Bow at Corrupted Gauntlet, I think it's always worth it to just touch up that extra one level before sending Gauntlet. Some people say, oh, it's so minimal. These things, they're really not minimal. You're going to be attacking Hunliff hundreds of times, thousands of times over the course of hundreds of gauntlets. Increasing your max hit by an extra hit there, especially when you're a hardcore, is going to just make the whole fight safer for you overall. It's going to make the fight shorter. You're just going to, in general, clean them up a lot quicker on that last like 25% where the 4 tornadoes can definitely stack you out very easily. So yeah, the breakpoints, I think you'll hit like 34s at 83, and you'll hit a 35 max hit with 87 range. So basically, those are the two breakpoints of range levels that I would recommend to get for Corrupted Gauntlet. And then after that, this is with Eagle Eye, not Rigor, which typically is the way Gauntlet is done. Obviously, if you're a main and you have Rigor, then I wouldn't even worry what your range level is because Rigor is such a massive damage boost that doesn't, won't really matter that you're gaining this specific breakpoint to increase your DPS slightly. Like, you'll be good enough just as is because the accuracy on Rigor and the extra 8% damage over Eagle Eye heavily outweighs anything else, any of these other factors that really matter. So yeah, typically if I get into Gauntlet, I'm already well past these breakpoints. I was just sort of explaining them for anyone who is curious. 83 and 87, those are your big ticket range levels. So me being 95, yeah, I don't really care. I'm already going to be hitting like 37s. Maybe like 39 is the max hit with the bow without rigor or something if you're 99, but I'm not I don't really care. I'm not going to worry about training more. I have a high enough range level. I think 95 plus in any stat really, strength, attack, defense, range, mage is officially where I would say you should never really think about, do I need to train my skill more to do more damage at raids? Because it's already high enough. At that point, if you just level up strictly through bossing or raiding, then that's totally fine. I think 95 plus, you have enough of the base stat on your character already to where the remaining four levels, even if you like grinded them out and then maxed your 99 in that skill to hit harder at a raid or something, then it's not really going to change too much because it's only four levels. Whereas like if you're like 84 ranged and you're like, oh, I want to do Chambers as Eric, it's like, well, maybe you should catch chins. If you're an Ironman, throw the chins, train up to 90 something range. Like those extra 6 or 7 or 8 range levels you could gain into the 90s will definitely give you a significant boost in your range DPS for the raid. So, but yeah, 95 plus, I would say officially where you can just sign off and say any XP I get here is just a benefit. I'm fine just bossing and raiding, and I'm gonna do just fine DPS. So yeah, so some other things I've been working on here. So I am able to finally cut redwoods, which is huge. I'm still not the base level, but I just hit 89, I believe, yesterday. And so what I do is I'm just chopping here the magics because I want an extremely AFK method while I do Slayer and other things. And then every time my spec's up, I climb up the ladder, I spec, and since I'm 89, the boost will put me to 92, and then I'll have a full minute until 91, a full minute until 90, and then another full minute until it drops below 90 back to my base set. So I get about 3 minutes of chopping redwoods for every 5 minutes that my spec bar takes to recharge. So I'm chopping redwoods just about half of the time that I'm here, which is nice. So I am stacking those. I will want to bank a ton of them for redwood birdhouses in the future. I don't have the hunter level to actually do that yet, but I am closing in on it. It's only like 80, what is it, like 89 or something, I believe, but it does require 90 crafting. Now, obviously, my main crafter in the 94 crafting here, he can do the redwoods whenever I get the hunter for it because I have the crafting, but the other accounts are still sitting around that 75-ish crafting level that I just got as like a bare minimum to do slayer rings and magic birdhouses. So I will have to go in on a tangent and grind a ton of molten glass. I do have loads and loads of sand. I have so much sand because every day when I know there's a daily reset and I haven't visited Bert yet in Yanil, I visit him and get my free 84 buckets of sand. I have the already hard diary done, which makes my Yanil teleport, or well, it's the Watchtower teleport, tells me directly to the center of Yanil rather than up in the watchtower, up like 3 floors, which is super annoying to like climb down the ladder twice, run under the underpass to get into the city, and then go to Bert. It's like, well, you're already tellied into the middle of the city. You just run over to Bert, collect your 84 sand, and I'm doing that on like multiple accounts every single day. So I easily have like 6 or 7 thousand sand just from passively stacking it from that per account. So I should be able to trade all them over to one guy with all the giant seaweed. I have plenty of giant seaweed. That's not the limiting factor. It would be the sand. If I need to mine more sand, I will. I can easily just go in the desert, mine sand, mine like 10 to 20,000 buckets, collect them, and then just start using the super glass make spell on lunars at a bank, and slowly just do the same thing I did to get 94 crafting, but instead of 94, I only need to go to like 89 for the time being. But that's in the future if I actually hit 89 hunter, or it will be 90 crafting. It's 89 hunter. Interestingly, like the birdhouse levels for crafting and hunter are off by one. So it's like 74 and 75 for magic. It's like 59 and 60 for you. The the crafting level is the flat like 10 or 15 mark where it's like 30, 45, 60, 75, 90. It's the hunter level that they subtracted one, and I'm not sure why. It makes really no sense, but hey, it's better to be less than one than it is to be, the flat level or even up, because that just means you have access to them a little bit earlier. But so the way you think of to do redwood birdhouses, you cut redwoods at 90 wood cutting. You can craft redwood birdhouses at 90 crafting, but the hunter requirement level is always that subtract one. So interestingly, yeah, it's probably like 89. So yeah, I mean, this is the highest hunter level, and I'm almost 85 here, just off birdhouses. I never hunted anything in the entire account. I maybe hunted like 100 chins on each account, maybe across the board, just because I needed some chins for doing combat achievements. Some combat achievements require you to throw like a chin to kill two enemies at once, like the two Dagonoth kings. So in doing those CAs, you literally need to like chin. So I caught maybe a couple hundred, but that's like very negligible XP. Basically, the entirety of this 3.1 mil XP is from just birdhouses. So yeah, stacking tons and tons of herblore from the nests there too. So it's really really nice. It's gonna be a massive herblore grind here soon. I'm already 91 herb. I can stack all my herblore on this account, and I will probably get. I'm not even gonna lie. I'll probably get close to 99. If I don't get 99, I'll at least be like 97 or something. The amount of brews that I can make right now, I probably have 10 to 12,000 toad flax in potions ready to roll. And I have the birdhouses because I've just been sending birdhouses into the level 80 plus hunter since the start of the account. So I have no worries on the secondaries there for the brews. Um, so yeah, all the toad flax I've been farming, I've been just sending so many herb runs. I mean, it's uh, what I've been doing for the past like 2 months probably. There hasn't been like a ton of like significant gains. That's because what I'm doing is I'm doing farming contracts with the farming guild at a high priority. I'm getting tons of toad flax seeds, and now you go to farm toad flax, they only give like 30 something XP per pick. So in farming, I'm basically getting not really a whole lot, right? You'd much rather plant like a higher level herb like a cadentine or lantodime, which gives roughly like 130, 140 XP per pick. Times like 50 in the entire run, that adds up to be a few thousand. Whereas toadflax, you're only getting like 30 XP a pick. So your farming level doesn't really progress when you do toadflax herb runs. But what you're doing is you're banking like a very significant amount of, well, it's a valuable potion in the Ceradim Brew, but it's also a 180 XP herb drop. It's one of the highest potions you can possibly make. And with the secondary being something I have plenty of with birdhouses, I have, a ton of herblore banked in just the bird just from the birdhouses with the nests and the toad flaxes from the herb runs. So you won't see a ton of farming gains from this whole process, but what you're doing is I'm just slowly banking a plethora of valuable herb XP that will be used later to finish kind of maxing out herblore. I don't know if there's really any reason to have 99 or even past like 97. 97 would just mean I don't need to boost with a botanical pie to make divine super combats. So there is that. It's just like a luxury. But other than that, I mean, I can already do that and boost that at what, like 93. So technically, I could still make the handful that I would need in just a short amount of time. But I easily have banked, like I said, probably up to like 96 or 97 Herblore. That's just a rough estimate. It's probably higher. It's probably close to 99. But yeah, if I think I probably have like close to 2 mil XP in just Toad Flax right now. So that, and then there's thousands and thousands of Irits, thousands and thousands of Catentine, Lantidime. I mean, my Catentine and Lantidime stacks in the unfinished potion, which I think of these as similar to Bruised. Like they're very close on the XP. They're not quite as high, but the secondary for them is so free in the fact that you can just pick white berries and potato cacti from the spots in the farming, in the farming location, at such a like a fast rate. You just pick them just one after the other, and you'll get a full inventory. You note it at the leprechaun. Sometimes there's still more. I easily have thousands of those, so the secondary again for those is no issue. It's basically going to come down to just smacking out the pots 14 and 14 at the bank, click them together, and then you return, do it again every 10 seconds or whatever. Easily doable and whatnot, but I do just need to get through that process because I have so many thousands banked. In fact, I can kind of just show real quick here when I tell you the bank. So um, let me just go show what's on this account. So one of my accounts, I actually did transfer all of his stuff to this account. Let me just move this out of the way here. And I can just kind of make this full screen here. And then let's order that to the top. So here's kind of the herb lore. You can kind of ignore just like the random herbs, although there are like 700 corms here, which is kind of significant. Basically, what I'm looking at here is the unfinished. So, look, that's just so juicy. 3.5 thousand brews ready to be made, and there's 7,000, almost 7,000 bird nests. So, any more Toad Flags comes in, I easily have the secondary. 4.1k Irits just ready to smash. That's just 410k XP. Don't even need to do hard math. It's just multiplied by 100. Obviously close to 2,000 Rainers. Let's add these 700 quorum into this 14, so that would be 2,100 right there to make. 2,000 Avanto. I don't have the fungus, but again, once you do this, then you go do agility and you get amylase, and then you can get additional XP from that. So that's definitely a few hundred K. Just the Catentine here, 2 point something K. And the Lantidime over 2,000, and just each of those are just a huge chunk of XP. So that's like close to a mil alone, and then just a casual like thousands of Hairlander as well. I can make energy pots. Believe it or not, it's actually decent XP. You get like 67 and a half per. So 1,000 is like 67k XP. It's not bad. I'm about to do 2,000 here, so that's like 150k. Why not? Bunch of dwarf weeds, which is a very high XP potion. So that's that's in the works. Now I kind of exaggerated what I had. That's because this is just one account. You got to remember, this is literally one account. Again, there's still hundreds of Grimies. I've cleaned most of them, and obviously none of the clean ones are in here because I recently threw them into potions through the Narda NPC. But yeah, that's just one account. Now let me just shrink this back down for you. But yeah, so real quick, there we go. So yeah, basically, again, that's just the one account. The reason I was talking up the numbers was, if you look at different accounts, I have two other accounts. I only added one account into this one. So this guy has basically two people's worth of potions, and the other two accounts still have all their stuff on them, which I again the stacks are very similar. Again, there's like 3,000 brews ready to be made on each of them. 2,000 super defense in the Lantidime ones, which is like 173 XP per, I think, or something. It's like 170 XP per magic potion when you just add the potato cacti to uh, the Lantidime unfinished. Again, so if I just added all these up, again, probably could get 99 just off that. Then I also have like 60 or 70,000 swamp tar, which can convert Terramins. I think it's like 50 XP a pop you get for each Terramin, which I have infinite Terramins from Kingdom, but what I can do is I can smash all that tar with it, and you make like it's like that salamander tar stuff. Nobody really uses the salamanders for the tar, but you can at least get Erdler XP, and that was all from Zora, the swamp tar. So yeah, just literally tons of Herblore banked. Probably gonna start doing that once I'm done with the Slayer. I think that's probably the first goal. Once I'm officially done here with Slayer, I will probably, once I'm 99 Mage, 99 Slayer, this account will be on the side. The goals for him, since he's going to be my main raider, is to get 99 mining. That was like high on the priority because two of the raids in the game currently, this is TOA and COX, they both involve like mining as a skill. For some reason, having just 99 mining or whatever, increases the damage you do in the Path of Het, which is right before Akka, so where you have to do the light puzzle and then you mine the thing in the center. It actually kind of matters what your mining level is. So you can get the one down if you're like 99 mining easily without specking, but if you're not 99, sometimes you would need to waste your spec, which I don't think it recharges before Akka. So it's just nice to get like that high mining level for a raid in which it's actually useful. And then Guardians and COX, I think the damage you do is based on your mining level as well as your strength gear, like your strength level and your strength bonus from gear. Obviously, the type of pickaxe you use, we know a dragon pickaxe is better, which I have, but I think just higher mining level also makes you hit harder on the Guardians. And not to mention, there's a couple shortcuts in COX. This is one of the things that nobody really thinks about. It's not really something that you should really care about, but there's just some weird mechanic in COX where in those scav rooms, so in some of the long scav rooms, the ones that are like windy and make you run all the way around, there will always be this little shortcut. The shortcut can be one of three things. It can be a boulder, which is based on strength level. It can be a tree, which you have to have a woodcut level for, and then it could be a rock, which is for mining level. Now, the level rec that it makes that shortcut thing to like start chopping it down to make it the to get through as a shortcut, for some reason in Chambers Eric, like half the time or most of the time, it takes your level and then like adds one. So like if I'm 91 mining and I do COX and I get the rock shortcut, it's randomly gonna be, it'll either require like 80 something to where I can easily just do it, or it'll say you need a mining level of 92 to start mining this shortcut. Why they made it one level above when you're literally the only one in the raid, I don't know, but that's been a mechanic that's always existed. So the way I think of it is, if you get 99 in the skill, it can't make it 100. It caps at 99. So if you're 99, then any instance where they make this shortcut require one level higher than what your current level is, well, if you're already 99, they cannot make it any higher. So it caps at 99, and you can just always do the shortcut reliably every raid. So it's just one of those things where I like the chill aspect of like click this little rock shortcut because I'm 99 mining and I'll get like 400 500 points. Effectively I'm mining twisted bow ore. That's like the way I view it, because all points you get goes towards your chance of receiving an item such as a twisted bow from the raid. So effectively, I'm like AFK mining this rock that's effectively ore that will eventually yield in points towards a twisted bow. So that's just kind of like the way I view it, and I know that's kind of strange to view it that way, but another thing that I love doing in chambers is when you get shamans and you can figure out a way to safe spot them rather than run around the room like a chicken with your head cut off. I absolutely love like safe spotting shamans, simply because the way I think of it as is it's like safe spotting, for a twisted bow drop. You're literally just farming points. You click and you sit back and watch as you just gain XP where the thing cannot move, it cannot reach you, and you're just shredding it, getting points for the damage you deal. There's no supply waste. There's no, who cares about the time at that point? You're just, like your DPS effectively is the same as if you're running around. If you're perfect at it, it's just you get to chill back rather than have to run around like a madman, use stamina pots, potentially take damage. And in that raid, yeah, like me taking damage from shamans is a big deal because those poison splats hit like 30s. In fact, I might not even do many shamans. That's kind of scary now that you think about it. I mean, maybe we even consider taking like a three-piece Shazian armor swap, which I know sounds really, really like overkill, but if it'll reduce the damage I take from the poison splats in that room, to be a bit safer, then it might be worth the space. If it's just like a quick like guardian shaman mystics type of like raid where there's no real threats, well, shamans are the threat, so potentially bringing in some Shazian. Probably won't bring in the Shazian just for that, but we'll see. Typically, I'll look to just safe spot that type of room. So, yeah, that's like that's a lot of the current goals right now. Again, just finishing this 99 mage, 99 slayer, and then moving on to skilling, like finishing up the high herb lore so I can make the maximum amount of potions, or rather the maximum tier of potion, which effectively is divine super combats at 97. There is something higher at 98, which is the extended super anti-fire. But in my opinion, I don't really need that because one, I don't do any of those like hard metal dragons. They're just super dangerous to a disconnection, and I'm not gonna do them. I don't have the good weaponry to do them yet. I don't have a dragon hunter lance or a fang, so no reason to do that. They also don't drop anything significantly useful. It's just money, so no reason to go do a Slayer monster that hits 35s off through your prayer. Like, you can't pray against them because their ranged hit will hit you, and um, yeah, it can hit like 35s constantly. So definitely not going to be doing any type of like rune dragon task. And then Vorkath is probably the other one where you would want extended super anti-fires. And again, a boss that can hit 120 damage from the bomb. Absolutely no reason for me to do that boss. He drops like nothing useful, like no good uniques, so um, pretty much don't really need to even make those. Although I probably will make some in the case that I ever use them, but no need for anything past basically 97 herb, and boostable at lower levels with the botanical ply +4. But it would just be convenient to be just like flat 97. So that's what I'm gonna be working on, and then I'm gonna be anything once I'm like 99 herb lore on here. I will be making potions on every other account to get total level up because again, chasing that rank 1 high score, I'm pretty much slated to hit it because the stream team of like Alfie, Alkin, Zulu, Devious, uh, they're the only ones that are higher rank, and they pretty much are all burnt or don't play anymore. So it's inevitable that I will just pass them, even if for some reason they did start playing a little bit again. I wouldn't really even care. It's just they haven't played in over a year, so I'm definitely going to be passing them at some point inevitably, which requires me to do close to 99 in most skills on all four accounts. I don't need to quite max all four. Like probably rune crafting and like high prayer or herb lore is some of the ones that I probably will be just shy of 99 on them. But yeah, herb lore probably will be one that I'll need to get like 95 plus across the board on all four guys. So yeah, there has been a lot of like cool, interesting things I've gotten lately. I actually got this one literally after I stopped the video of last video, stopped the recording for last video. I literally an hour later, because I was doing medium clues, I wasn't doing medium clues or any clues that I was getting from Slayer during the video recording because I'm recording this live. I'm talking live. There's no voiceovers here. This is straight up live footage with me rambling. So typically I can't split my attention that many ways and do something like as diverse as a clue. So I kind of stop doing it until the recording's done, and then I end the recording. I say, hey, thanks for the video, and then I'll upload that later. But then while I'm just playing normally, I'll do clues and stuff. Literally after I ended the recording for the last video, I got a medium clue, and it was like 60 or 70 medium clues on that account. So if you, I guess all four counts kind of did an even amount, so probably close to 200 or 300 medium clues. And I sniped some ranger boots, so that was like a huge little dopamine rush there. It was like a clue step in the Sinclair Mansion or something, and I was just like, when I just been clicking the caskets as soon as I get it, just like as soon as I can loot this thing and see whether I got something good, the quicker it's over kind of deal. And I was kind of shocked. I was like, oh my god, I actually got it because I've been hunting them because I have many peg crystals. I got 5 Pegasian crystals actually total from the thousands of Serb I've done, which means any ranger boots, I'm set. I already have the peg. So that was just an instant like, yes, best in slot obtained. I have access to Pegasians, which will be useful for things like Zora if I go back. Muspa, raids potentially. So anywhere where I'm going to be using best in slot range boots, I have them now, the full max pegs. And with Eternals, like switching for like the Muspa grind that's coming up for me, you know, I I'll have that. I'll probably have like a full like 8-way switch, which is pretty ridiculous. But like a 6-way switch typically doesn't include like offhand or boots or ring. But like an 8 or even 9-way switch, some people are crazy enough to do, will include boots and potentially like an offhand or a ring. So like the difference between a 6-way and an 8-way is typically the boots plus like an offhand or something. So um, or, or like a helmet even. But yeah, Muspa is one of those things where like you don't really need supplies. You're kind of gonna take no damage if you do the mechanics properly. So people get very greedy and they take as many switches as possible. So for Muspa, which is coming up for me, that's gonna be kind of cool to be able to take that the best switches there with the pegs into Eternals for when I'm ranging versus maging. And because, like I said, you're typically not going to need supplies because the way the fight works is either you avoid the mechanic and you take a 0, or you get hit like a 50 potentially, like every hit. So like it's very punishing to make any mistake in these types of bosses that Jagex releases nowadays. Kind of not really cool the way they do it. Like you get punished super hard for not being 100% flawless, and like nobody's perfect. Obviously, you do take some food for the room for error, but being a hardcore, I don't really have much room for error. I do just need to watch out and try to take as little chip damage and mistake damage as possible. That way, I don't ever have to like run low on supplies and risk doing a kill without food or low HP or something. So yeah, just a ton of like cool stuff happening, and finally winding down the second of 4 counts on the Slayer. Once he's done with Slayer, I will switch over. So I got this other sleeper dude down here, still 90 attack, 93 defense, only 93 Slayer. So I say only, that's still pretty like advanced. I've been working on Slayer on all of them across the board for many many months, but he's been just kind of woodcutting and parked up as an alt for a while, and it will be nice to finally start working on the fourth account because I've already been working on the third account. I'm closing in. I'm like 94, 95 Slayer on the third account. So finishing Slayer officially on this second account means I'm max combat basically. Ready for God Wars on him. I will just be then proceeding to the remainder of the two accounts, and one by one, those will be finishing up. So when they fully complete, and it's time to go, I'm going into God Wars as soon as I get all 99s, and that's why I'm doing a lot of the prep for it. In that, I might want divine super combats or something. So in the case where I do, that's why I want to get all this herblore stuff and all this skilling done out of the way before I finish the full 99 Slayer on the fourth guy, because when I finish that, I'm gonna want to go in and boss, and it's been a long time coming. I think it's been worth the wait because I will have the most supreme of like power there, and DPS safety from the defense levels, uh, just safety in the fact that I have attack levels as well, because accurately landing my 3 Dragon Warhammer specs that I throw in every single kill means that it's a much higher chance that they hit, which means it's a much higher chance that Bandos is basically destroyed like butter. And again, I'll have thralls just wailing on him from multiple accounts. I've got to figure out this like pot share method. So with the lunar spells, you can use the pot share spell in teams, and it's more efficient to do that on like a large amount of players. Like for example, I think since I have 4 people, if I group them all up together with accept 8 on or whatever, and I pot share like a super combat, I think it'll, and super restores, it lets you pot share restore potions too. I think it'll use up 3 doses but give it to all 4 guys. So the way it'll work is I'm basically saving 1 dose every time I would drink a dose on all 4 guys, which adds up over the long fight, and definitely gonna be excited to like finally make use of that. I crafted a lot of combo runes from Guardians of the Rift, the rune crafting minigame. So I did that basically because, well, it's better points on Guardians of the Rift. It's better points and better rune crafting XP to do. But I was really, really enjoying making those combo mud runes, because that's typically something that an Ironman will never make. Like, you're not going to be running to the water or the earth altar to do combo runes. So passively getting like probably a stack of like 5 to 10,000 I have, it should be plenty. I mean, that's a lot of pot shares. So in my rune pouch, I'll probably have like rune combinations of like muds, astrals, and then whatever else you need. Um, potentially, maybe I'll probably be casting vengeance on myself at that point, because if I'm the tank or something, then if Bandos hits me for like a 35 with range right off the bat, well, that's gonna avenge back like a 25 easily. That's a large amount of damage. He only has 240 HP. So venging a 20 back is like 10% of his health gone just from a pre-venge. And I can cast Venge on myself when he's respawning with like a minute left. And then when it procs, cast it again after it first hits. So potentially getting that double Venge back to back, on the fight could do like 10% of the boss's health. Again, you have thralls from the other guys, and then swinging in Warhammer specs. If any Warhammers land, he's going to kind of melt, and then tent whip him down with 4 counts. I'll be using a Zami Spear, or rather Hosta equivalent, on my main tank because it gives 15 to all defensive stats. That includes ranged. So 15 ranged defense from your one-handed weapon alongside like a crystal shield and full barrows, I'll kind of be unkillable with the range. Obviously, he will still hit, but reducing his chance to hit with the ranged attack of Bandos when I'm tanking is going to significantly make the fight easier. The whole trip just goes smoother. Being able to rely on my defense to not have to worry as much about constantly re-healing when I take damage, because sometimes he can just range you, and it's RNG whether he does that. And if the hammers miss and it's one of those long fights, like I'm not just gonna abort the kill and telly out on all four guys. I'm gonna try to slug through that kill, and the easier I can make it on myself, the less chance of him hitting whenever it's those long kills or maybe the hammers miss, then the better chance of just surviving the overall encounter for hundreds of KC to get the items I want. So, yeah, I'm kind of gonna wrap it up here on the video. Just wanted to catch everyone up on some progress. Obviously, the holidays were busy, a lot of like family stuff going on to where there was like a week where I just wasn't even able to log in basically. So a bit of a lull there in the content because of the holidays and stuff, Christmas and all that and whatnot. So now that's all wrapped up out of the way. This is I'm recording this before New Year's, but it probably won't be uploaded till after New Year's. But hey, I hope everyone had like a happy holiday and good New Year's as well. You know, type in the comments. Anyone has any cool New Year's resolutions? I know I have some. Some of them is to be a bit more strict on my workout regimen. Kind of been slacking a bit on the IRL fitness gains. Mostly because when I started my new job in the middle of the year this year, I kind of get some physical exertion from there. It's not like long term strenuous physical exertion, but like sometimes I'll have to lift something that's like close to 100 pounds and just like move it like a set distance and do this like frequently every day, sometimes multiple times a day. So, I get like kind of exhausted just from working sometimes, so I was kind of slacking on like coming home and then also doing like a big lifting workout. So that's kind of one of my New Year's resolutions, is to just be a bit more adamant in my decisions to, fit in workouts where I can, regardless of if I'm exhausted, just be a bit more disciplined. And yeah, let me know in the comments anyone has any cool resolutions they'd like to share. And I wish everyone good luck and a happy new year. I will catch you all on the next video. Peace.